Okay, 6 sacks. So let's break that down first.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of sacks were they? Kill shots? Was it just get to him, touch him, and you call him down? Does he have the ability to run out of any of these? I talked to somebody that said he looked good, but there were issues up front a little bit. Didn't we expect that going in?
Yes, 100%.
Isn't that what Phil Perry said?
Oh, Phil Perry said there was a real potential here that they could be overwhelmed in terms of what they saw against Minnesota. And then you heard Garrett Bradbury talking about how this is going to be the most complicated thing they saw all year when it comes to what Flores was throwing at them defensively.
We didn't see him last week. So that's a new week for him.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Moses, is he going to play in this game this week? Like, you're shuffling in like 2 or 3 new guys. Continuity can be an issue this early. It really can. Your first game's in a couple weeks. So after, and I said this yesterday, after this game, you're going to shut it down. You're going to keep it tight. Fans aren't going to be able to see it. Writers aren't going to be know what they're doing. Josh is going to have some sort of game plan as to what protections he's going to use to start this season. And I don't want to say protections that he uses because he has multiple. I don't think they're going to load the kitchen sink. I think you got to get up and running first, see who you can trust, real game situations, and then take it from there. But I talked to somebody, as I said, that said Drake looked really good yesterday.
Yeah.
It's the sacks aren't his fault. Or they can be. I don't know. See, I don't know what the call is. I don't know what the protection is. He could blow the play. He can. Hard for me to believe that he's going to stand there, hold on the ball like we see Caleb Williams do.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. No, I don't think that's going to happen. So Phil Perry also had the Vikings with 6 sacks overall in that joint practice.
That's solid.
He also said, though, that 4 of those came in the first 10 snaps. And then after that, things kind of got cleaned up.
Okay.
And so I point to that, and I do look at potentially a learning experience here, first of all, and communication issues up front early on. Like you said, Bradbury back in the fold. You also have the 2 young guys on the left side. But I think the ability to grow from what you saw even at the beginning of practice to the end of practice and finish on a strong note there with the offensive line is a step forward in the right direction there. There is way more talent on this offensive line than what we saw last year. It's going to be improved. What that ceiling ultimately is, I think we're going to have to find out. But when you look at sort of what the expectations were even coming into this Viking, like you said, Phil Perry's saying that they could be overwhelmed in terms of what they saw with the Vikings. The fact it was up and downs, though, and that they finished strong, to me, again, is a step in the right direction for this program as a whole with Mike Vrabel. It's wild to me where we are right now with the Patriots versus where we were at this point last year. It is.
I said that yesterday with Drake, too. I think from calling just, 10 of his games, it seems to me like he gets better as the game goes on. Because you get out there, you're raw, you're still young, you haven't played a ton of football, everything's new to you. And I think he's good at, and I said it yesterday, keeping the even kill. Just staying the same, whether it's good or really bad. And you have to do that as a quarterback. You can't look rattled. You can't do what Caleb Williams does. And go look at the videos, folks. What he's screaming out there, slamming the ball, spiking it, complaining. Like, you can't be a spoiled brat like that. You have to get out there and you have to lead. And it's up to Vrabel to get him going. See, this is so hard to talk about. Because, like, we're not there. At least, like, when they're playing at home. Or,
you can evaluate it and see it.
Yeah, I saw that one period. Yeah, they struggled there, but at least they got going at the end. So it's hard for me to sit here and say, why did the sacks happen?
Here's my other question for you, too. So Phil Perry also talking about, and I heard Bedard talking about this as well, where Mike Vrabel, again, spending the majority of his time with the offense.
Good.
And Drake Maye. Are you surprised by that with the defensive background that Vrabel has? Like, what do you make of that, the fact that he's spending so much time with the offense right now?
I like it because he's getting it up and going. I think he's not worried about the quarterback, but it's his job to get the quarterback ready for week 1. Josh is coaching him. Josh is going to give him the plays that is really, sort of fit for him. But, when we go for it, this is what's going to happen, Drake. Drake, go down there, celebrate with your team. Listen to all the audio clips that they have, and they put it out there on social media. Vrabel gets on Maye.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing. I think that's the biggest reason. I think it's your quarterback. He knows he's got a 22-year-old quarterback, and their success hinges on the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback. And you could sprinkle everything else in.
I completely.
And it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are your first. That's your first issue.
By the way, he's not wrong. His success does hinge on Drake and Maye and what he ultimately turns into as quarterback, and I think that's why it's exciting to see a head coach do that. Say what you will. Gerard Mayo's success also hinged in large part on whether or not Drake Maye was going to be successful. They didn't put him in a position to be successful, certainly last year. But to say, yeah, you know what, I don't really do that side of the ball, head coach offense, and sort of watch that flounder the way that they did last year versus what you're seeing this year, a head coach taking accountability for even the side of the ball that isn't his specialty, I think goes a long, long way in terms, again, just the program overall. And like you said, too, it's not just being involved in the offense, but it's also the coaching up of Drake Maye in terms of what he wants that guy to be, which is a leader, which is ultimately a captain on this team moving forward, which again goes to how successful this team is going to be, right? It's going to be carried by Drake Maye. That's as far as you are going to go in this organization.
Remember Mayo last year was at a press conference. I think he was asked about the offense. He goes, you got to go talk to Alex. He's the head coach of the offense.
Head coach offense.
This is the complete opposite.
Can't do that. You have to take accountability. I'm sorry, you do. And we've seen other coaches have success with, Sean McVay giving the defense originally to Wade Phillips back in the day. I understand all that, but it's a lot different, I think, if you're a defensive coach because you rely so heavily on your quarterback and you need that guy to be a leader in your organization.
But here's your problem, too. I think if it was year one for Vrabel, he would be defensive heavy because he's a former defensive player.
Yep.
Really good former defensive player. Nasty, tough, all that stuff. And to defend Mayo here, he didn't know what to do.
No.
So his natural reaction is, okay, Bill never said a thing.
Right. I'm going
to be good with the press. I'm going to tell you everything.
Yep.
We're going to break silos down, all that stuff. Get the walls down, and we're going to all be together, have some fun, get good vibes.
Yeah. No. You're 100% right. I just think it's really hard. I think as a head coach of with an offensive background, you can turn over the defense to someone else. I don't think as a defensive head coach you can necessarily do that with the offense and not be involved with the quarterback. If your quarterback, you have to make sure that guy represents your organization and is a leader and is a pillar for what you're trying to build long term. And I think that's what Mike Vrabel's doing right now. And I think, again, the fact that they went to Minnesota against one of the best teams in the NFC last year and were competitive and there were up and downs in that practice, certainly. But again, you're heading in the right direction. Doesn't feel like there was a huge lull in terms of coming off what was a successful week against Washington. You came ready to go yesterday against Minnesota, and that's a huge step forward. I'm sorry, it is.
What's the biggest issue with the football team as you head into this year? What are you worried about the most?
The offense.
So the offensive line. I would go offensive line.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is an indictment on like Josh McDaniels. Like, I got to go babysit Josh. No, I'm the head coach of the football team. I want to know who the hell these five guys are and how they're going to block. What's the run call? So he's got to hear the run call. He knows the scheme. He's got to hear the pass protection. And then he can sit there and look at it and watch practice that way and sort of evaluate it so he'll be ready to go when the team meeting starts. That's part of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, there's going to be rookies on the offensive line that they're certainly going to have to rely on. We'll get into that coming up. And we'll also get into one running back that is peaking early here, Zoe.
You mentioned the 2 minutes, 70-yard touchdown.
Stud. The talent's undeniable, right? So, I mean, I think if you have him in your system and you're around him on a daily basis, you can see that. And I think that next part is being a leader and being that, again, that pillar of the franchise. I think that's why he's working so hard on it. So I give him all the credit for it. One nice element to this offense that's emerged here over the last 2 weeks, it feels like, especially TreVeyon Henderson. Huge play yesterday for a 70-yard touchdown. Drake made a Henderson. How involved is he going to be in this offense? So, because it feels like it went from maybe being like that third down back to now all of a sudden something a little more.
So with Ramondre out, you got to compensate, and I think he's going to get more carries. Right? He may be the first guy in the huddle on Saturday afternoon. So I'm sitting there in the post game last week. I'm doing fifth quarter, and he goes to the podium and I hear him talk. It was like an 8-year vet. I'm like, holy crap. So my opinion, not only of the game when you watch it play, like when the lights are on, but just, I bust my tail. I'm here to make plays, all that stuff. Nothing like pounding the chest or anything, but just down to the ground, very low key. And he can end up being a leader of that running back group with Ramondre, because if he's nicked up, with Gibson. Gibson's not a big vocal guy.
Yeah. Gibson was arguably your best back last year, I thought, in terms of what he did, just from a physical standpoint and what he's capable of. Yeah.
See, those things work itself out. Mm-hmm. So, like the really, really good best players, they end up being the leaders of their group, and I think his skill set is off the charts. So, obviously,
speed though impressed you in that first preseason game with Henderson.
So they had a 2-minute offense on the second play. He went for 70.
Yeah.
All right. Do it again Saturday. Make some big plays on Saturday. He has a good day on Saturday. He might be in the huddle week 1 against the Raiders. First snap. That would be something.
I heard Chad Graff on with the morning show, and when I was driving in, and he said that he talked to a Minnesota official walking off the field, and he said Henderson is different, special. So look, you can say, oh, running back. This is a team that desperately needs dynamic players in that offense. This offense has not had big plays for, it feels like, years now, Zoe. To have someone that's actually capable of that, capable of turning a wheel route into a 70-yard touchdown like he did yesterday, that's a game changer for this offense. I'm sorry, it is.
Look at Buffalo. What'd they pay their running back yesterday? Cook.
James Cook got paid.
4 for 48?
Yeah.
I think, or 46? That's a big contract. Ramondre's getting paid, too. But, boy, these running backs are starting to make some bank. So I was thinking, okay, Terry McLaurin, that's the perfect spot to trade him to, Buffalo, because I think Allen needs another receiver. But if Cook can be that sort of game breaker and bell cow, I like him. Bob and I like him a lot. He was good against us. And I don't watch him every week, but, man, it's a lot of money for a running back.
It is. So you got the rookie running back that you're excited about. Obviously, the left side of the offensive line, also rookies as well. Now, this is going to be something that doesn't happen in the NFL very often. I mentioned it earlier in the week that Mike Reese had this in his Sunday Notes column, but since 2016, there has not been 2 rookies to start on the left side of an offensive line for an NFL organization. The Ravens in 2016 were the last team to do it. They had Alex Lewis at left guard, Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. Joe Flacco was sacked 33 times in 16 games in that season. Baltimore finished with an 8-8 record. Now, we have seen instances where there have been multiple rookies on an offensive line before. The Steelers had it last year, 14 starts for Mason McCormick. Zach Frazier had 15 starts. They went 10-7 that season, and the Cowboys, going back to 2011, also had a couple rookies on their offensive line, and they finished 8-8. So, look, there's going to be bumps and bruises for this offense because of that. But I also think that you've seen, based on just the records of those teams, you can still be a functional team with that left side if they're coached up properly and if the young guys actually wind up being players. I mean, if Will Campbell winds up being Ronnie Stanley,
thank you,
then you're in great shape here. That's a guy that you were ready to throw a ton of money at before he re-signed in this offseason with Baltimore.
I just hate dismissing it like, okay, you got 2 rookies there, that's going to be bad. If they're better than the other guys,
I think it's a great
you
point.
Play them.
So, what are you supposed to play? A lesser player?
He's number 4 overall pick. You play the kid. Start him at tackle, whether or not he ever flips the guard. But I keep hearing this too. Like in the building, they like the offensive line and how it's trending, and they like him at tackle. Vrabel picked him. Like this is Vrabel's pick. He went down there, worked him out, and I think he understands what he can and what he can't do. And I don't think he would have chosen him at 4 if he thought the arms were an issue or this kid didn't have strength. Mike's a defensive edge guy, so he knows what to look at in tackles. He knows which guys he can take advantage of, which ones are going to be tough to play against. So he likes Campbell. Let's get this kid going.
Our guy Jordan Schultz tweeting this out a couple days ago. He said, Patriots rookie offensive tackle Will Campbell has taken virtually every rep at left tackle, and the team loves what they've seen. Despite some questioning if he'll be a left tackle in the NFL, he's delivered exactly as expected. One team source raved about his football IQ and that it's, quote, through the roof. He processes so fast and already thinks like a vet. He has the type of football character you want to build your program around.
So I think your top 2 picks, they speak like they're vets. They don't seem like rookies that are in over their head. They don't know what to say. They just yes, no. He stands there and faces the questions and gives you answers. Give this kid a chance. Week 1 was tough on him, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people saying, yeah, he's getting beat here, getting beat there. One-on-ones. He got abused. Who else? Keon White?
Keon White,
put him on his ass twice. All right. I thought he played well last week. I really did. Thought he played well. Yeah, they mixed up that TE game. And I heard Bedard talk about that about Marrone. He asked Marrone, like, what was that? He goes, yeah, I think that was a TE game. So they've got to alert him. And I think that's what Doug Marrone was saying. I got to be better as a coach so that he anticipates what the call is going to be, what check you can go to. If that's 3rd and 7, guess what? They're running something to get after us. They're not just going to line up over here and go straight in. They're going to try and twist it and play some sort of game over there to get to the backside of the quarterback, and they did, and they made him fumble.
2022 NFL draft for the Patriots. First round, it was Cole Strange. Second round, it was Tyquan Thornton. Marcus Jones, 3rd round. Jack Jones, 4th. Pierre Strong, 4th. Bailey Zappi, 4th. Kevin Harris, 5th round. Sam Roberts, 6th. Andrew Stuber in the 7th round. I know it's early to evaluate this draft class right now, but based on the way that they have played so far and what we're hearing even about TreVeyon Henderson, we're talking about this class already as potentially a foundational piece for Mike Vrabel's program moving forward. And we've seen past draft classes. I don't think we've seen the hype that we already have with some of these players. So it's been up and down for these offensive linemen early on. I understand that. It's going to be. But the fact that they're playing themselves into starting roles, and look, we've seen it even with Kyle Duggar at this point. I know that's not necessarily a player that was Mike Vrabel's coming in, but you have to earn that spot. You have to earn that spot. And I don't think if they were playing, if Wilson wasn't playing up to a starting caliber left guard, I don't think he's in that position right now.
Well, think about this, too. So you drafted a kicker.
Yep.
He's going to be your kicker. You blew up your whole operation.
Yes.
You drafted a long snapper and a short snapper.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do both, and he's going to be here playing. Eftham Chisholm didn't even get drafted.
Right.
Probably going to make the football team.
Yep.
And we know what you did in the top 2 picks. And Kyle Williams doesn't go anywhere. It looks like a good draft. Looks like one.